Hello, everybody, and welcome to our second webinar already from Uplink about how to maintain mental health in home office. I'm really looking forward to this webinar today and also our further discussion with two of our guests. First, I want to tell you how this whole thing works. So in the beginning, I want you to ask two questions. You can do that while clicking on the button below Paul, and then you can answer it. Also, while I'm giving you some theoretical input, you have the possibility to ask some questions. You can do that with the obvious button, ask a question. And it's also meant to ask questions to our candidates already. Or maybe you can report from your most challenges or something, and then you can upvote it. And later in the discussion part, we will talk about these issues. Perfect. So now I want to share my presentation with you. 1 second. So 1 second. So now you should see my presentation. Is it working? So if it's not working, please leave a comment in the thread. Works. Perfect. That's what I want to hear. So yeah, welcome everybody. First, I will give you a short introduction what you can expect. For those of us who are not already part of Uplink, I will give a short introduction and also introduce me. Then we will start in the morning of organizing your workday. So we will talk about the importance of a morning routine. After that, about the significance of a daily structure, and also we will talk about some helpful tools which help to structure the daily workload. And especially I focused on 3 tools that helps me personally the most, because I think the market is already full of thousands of tools, and in the end you have to decide by yourself which suits you the best. But I want to give you an overview about 3 different methods. Also, we will talk about the design of the workspace, which makes it maybe a bit easier to separate private and working life. And in the end, we will have an open discussion with our guests, Saskia and Sabrina. So we are Uplink. What does it mean? Most of us already know us. We were founded in 2016 by Manuel. He was a freelancer himself and worked 8 years as a freelancer, but also for startups, agency, and larger companies. And then luckily, he decides to found Uplink. We are a network of more than 1,000 IT freelancers from all over Germany. And we want to be kind of an alternative to classic recruitment agencies. So we offer fair, transparent projects, and also we have a big active online community and organize meetups. Normally meetups also on site when it's allowed again, and also other benefits for freelancers, for example, like this webinar today. If you want to have further information about us, you can check out our homepage or click one link below. Then regarding my person, I'm Nick. I'm 27 years old. I studied economics and human resource management, and thereby I focused on intercultural education. The last couple of years, I worked in IT recruiting as a recruiter, and as well as an account manager in the field of sales. And now already since nearly 3 months, I'm really happy to be a part of the Uplink team as a project and event manager. About me in private, you can say I'm a social person. I try to do at least 5 times a week some urban sports activities, and definitely want to travel to Asia next week, as it's one of the continents I've never been to so far. So we start with the importance of a morning routine. What is a morning routine? Basically, it's the sequence of the day we can influence the most. How does that come? So I think in the morning, It's a time where we are less distracted than during the day. So we don't receive any emails from work in the early morning or get some distraction by friends. So if we think about it, we can definitely influence the morning the most. A morning routine should be self-selected, designed specifically, and tailored to your own needs. It means just that the how and when is definitely a personal issue. So maybe my morning routine wouldn't work for you or the other way around. Why it is so important to have like a real routine and a real detailed plan after waking up. I think like every one of us knows that like you wake up, at least it was the case for me, especially in the first months of working full time after studies, that I wake up in the morning, having a coffee, then checking out social media like Instagram maybe for half an hour, and then drinking a coffee, and then you're like already kind of in a rush, um, and you rush to work, and then you already have like a really high stress level, and even the work doesn't already start. So I feel like we should really implement a nice morning routine. What are the most frequent mistakes when it comes to morning routines? I think especially in the beginning, when you implement something new, you should not have like excuses why you sleep longer today or why you're not doing the morning routine as it should be. So you should be really disciplined and consequent. It means also that you should not overload everything in the morning. Like it's nice for the beginning to have like maybe like four ideas what you want to do in the morning. For me, for example, it is like reading 10 pages of a book or reading 10 pages of a newspaper, because I feel I already start in the day a bit more creative, and have like a really kind of short workout-ish. So like 10 or 15 minutes sports. Sometimes when I'm not motivated to do sports because of any reason in the morning, which also happens sometimes, I just go like for a 10 minutes walk to feel like already ready for the day. And what's also really important, not to become stressed by the morning routine, because the long-term goal is like to reduce our stress level. So we should plan really precisely how much time we need for a slot, and not be like, I will do 30 minutes of sport, and then I will have a super healthy breakfast, 45 minutes, and then in the end, we can't fulfill our own requirements. And also what's important, to be precisely and define all our objectives. So we should become really clear what exactly we want to do, and not like, for example, not like just sports in general. So define it, I want to do 10 minutes of a yoga workout, or have a small meditation, for example. And as I already said before, it's a really individual matter, and it should be totally adapted to your own rhythm. So it's not important if you wake up like at 6 or at 9, it's just like about the time after waking up. What is important if you want to succeed in long term? You need to be really endurant. I had in my studies as well how long it takes to implement a daily routine. And maybe some of us already heard about the 2 weeks rule, which sounds pretty nice, because it feels like you just have to keep something for 2 weeks, and then you're already done. But in real, unfortunately, it's like 66 days to get used to a daily routine. And that's why you should have no exceptions in the beginning, even if it might start later. So what I did, like for, of course, honestly, I didn't do it like for 7 weeks, but I did it at least for 3 weeks, that I also had the same morning routine at the weekend. I just started a bit later, like when I woke up like at 10 or 11, but I had the same routine, just that my brain gets used to it. And if you don't live alone, or if you have a family, you can find yourself a partner, and maybe you can do it together with your partner, with your flatmates, or anyone else. And you should be less ambitious, so it should be not too crowded in general, because otherwise you get just discouraged really easily. Now I have some tips how to get like a better and easier to become a good daily structure, especially when we think of working from home, like for a full week, or even for like 2 weeks. So I already told you that I sometimes do a short walk. walk, and especially I did it during these times of Corona where I was not allowed to go in the office at all. So I just had a short walk of like 10 up to 15 minutes after dressing up like as I would go to work. It doesn't need to be really fancy, or you need to wear a suit if you don't have to. And then I sat down to my desk, and it really feels like now, because of that, due to that walk, I had like a real break from private life to work life, and it sets me in the mood, and I got the mindset to start working again. Also, it can help to set some time frames. It doesn't need to be a really strict time frame that you say like it's every day from 8 to 6, but there should be a few fixed working hours who are like definitely kind of defined to your own rhythm. So maybe you say like from 10 to 7, I'm um, I'm working, and for sure it should be aligned to your productivity phases. So if you know that you're really productive from like 6 to 8, you can also start a bit later. Then what helped me personally really the most was to structure the workflow really detailed. So I use calendar entries like at Google or any program you use it for a specific task I'm doing. Really often I have the problem that I get easily distracted by operative stuff in the office. For example, the phone is ringing, you just receive an email, and then I'm totally out of another task. So I set like time frames from like about 1 hour doing admin stuff like email management. And for you as freelancers, for sure, there can be other fields like project acquisition, or if you want to inform yourself about further education, and then you have precisely time slots you can do. It really helps to become more productive and not so distracted, because I feel like when I do another task and then I go back to the first one, I always need like 10 minutes to be at the same point and continue being productive. What's also really important is like to keep your breaks as you would be in the office. So in the beginning, I think everyone knows that, especially when you're at home, you use your breaks to have, for example, for walk with the dog, or maybe you use it to do some household. But you should really use the lunch break to maybe make some food and really recover from work, and not do other stuff at home, because after that you will go back to the desk and you have probably the same stress level. Also, what's really important, to reward yourself after successfully completed assignments. I miss that really the most, as I'm coming from a sales environment where, for example, when you have a hot lead or something like that, and everyone in the office would celebrate you, and it would be like there would be a really good mood, or even if you achieved something else. So I tried to make some rewards, and also like available rewards. So sometimes in the morning when I knew I might need a reward because I already planned something and this task is about to finish, I go to the bakery, get some banana bread and put it in the kitchen. So it's easy, and the access to it is really easy, and I have the feeling of coming forward. Also, it can help to set times when you can be reached, so that you different between like product phases where you just like focus on strategic tasks, or focus on tasks where you can't be reached, and then you have time where you like available for colleagues, for example, or where you just do some phone calls you have to do. It can really help. Now, I will add it as well in the presentation, because I don't know, working at home, we don't have like a set workplace. We have to create it kind of by our own. Ideally, it's nice not to work from the kitchen table. I know in some cases it might not work. So I'm still working from the kitchen table because I don't have enough space. But I use that and print one wall in a different color, just to have like a bit of the optical separation and feel like, okay, that's the space where your mind gets productive and where you need to work, and have this separation from my private living space. Also, it's really helpful if you have like nice warm light, just like sit maybe next to the window and have some fresh air and access to it. Because in the office, normally all offices are kind of nice design, so we have all these things, and then at home maybe we don't considering it again. Also, like, prepare a nice desk, not just put like a desk from out of the color, make it like really nice that you really want to be productive there as well. Creating a peaceful environment for breaks. I mean, the best thing is when you have like a own room for working, and you can just go there, and maybe there is like an armchair where you can have a break. It really helps not to do it in the flat, because otherwise you might get really easily distracted again doing some household, and then you really lose easily the balance. And what I already said, I do it with banana bread or some nuts to have for completing milestones, like near-reaching bonuses. It could be also like a really nice coffee or something, but something where you don't have to leave the house and then doing it. For sure, another idea would be like go for a 15-minute walk as a reward. Then it's also okay. Now, I just listed some technical stuff about the workplace, how you should sit. So I think many of us heard that already, like the front line of the computer should be like on the top, so that there is like just one line. And I already realized, working from home without a monitor, for example, if you just have a laptop, in like, I don't know, like 99% of the cases, you can't realize that, because you always look like more down. So if you have the possibility, you should get a laptop, or maybe you should get a monitor, or maybe put your laptop a few steps higher with maybe some books, or help yourself. Exactly. And it should be that your shoulders are totally, it's like an exercise, totally strange when you work at the desk. So it should be like 90-degree angle between upper and lower arm, and also between upper and lower back. Because otherwise, if maybe the shoulders are a bit too high, probably you get some problems with tensions. And from the distance from the laptop, that's, I think, maybe not that easy to realize, according to which table you might lose, should be 50 centimeters far away. And at a 90-degree angle to the window, I mean, that's not in every case possible, but then if you don't have the window next to the side, you should get some natural light to have like a good view on your desk. Now, I listed like 3 helpful tools which can help to implement like new habits, also which can help in general to organize your daily workload. I don't want to make like an endless list, because I think if you start Googling and up there like 1,000 opportunities, 1,000 clever startups who invented something that helps you to structure it. But I decided for 3 ones, because I think they're like really different, and they both have like a different aiming something different. So I want to present them to you. The first one I use like also for private habits, to be honest, is like Grow the Habit Builder. It's a free version, and I think for our issues, the free version should be enough. It helps to build new habits and implement routines. How does it work? So before you add a new habit you want to achieve, you set up precisely like your long-term goals, what you want to aim with habit. It's an advance, because then after 1 or 2 weeks, when you already achieved some milestones, you have the possibility to new define the habit, to get it on already to a higher level. And what's really important to set yourself like in the same environment that it becomes a habit. For example, that can be go for a walk outside in the forest or outside the city, at least outside the flat. So you always have a specific environment, and also your brain connects for you to get in that mood while you're in that environment. Exactly. And after every single repetition, you have to answer a few questions, like how it was for you, was it easier for you? Did you really go for that walk like 15 minutes or maybe just 10? And then why? It's really nice because after like 2 weeks already, you can see your habit sets grow over time, and also you have the possibility to optimize it and see how efficient you were, and maybe you also see potential how you can improve in some steps. The next helpful tool is ZenKit. Formerly, it was called Wunderlist. I think it's kind of similar to Trello a bit, but it definitely has advanced features. So you can use it, as I introduced you in the beginning, how important it can be to set up your task and plan it like really, really precisely for every hour what you are doing. So with that app, you have easily the opportunity, and especially I know in my field it makes sense because you can organize like different projects, and then you can attach just some tasks. And on the first side, you have something like a Kanban board. I don't know if you all know the method. Basically, it's just like some portfolios or cards with some subtasks. And for me, it really helps because I have an overview about everything I need to do. And then I can go into the task deeper and can start fulfilling the subtasks. And every day you have the possibility to prioritize the task new, and in the end you see what you've done. What's really nice about this, it also works on the desktop like Trello, but you also have an app for it. And yeah, the app works really well. And especially when you're doing the walk, or also when you're allowed to go in the office again, you can check it in train and have a good overview about your tasks tomorrow. Then the next one, I think it's a really old technique, the Pomodoro technique. It comes from that kitchen timers Italian people often lose. So you can choose a task to be accomplished. And then it works like you set the Pomodoro timer for 25 minutes. And after these 25 minutes, you can decide to have a short break, maybe 5 minutes. And after four times this period of 25 minutes, you can have a longer break, like for 15 minutes, for example. It's just like easy in the sense to break down work into intervals. And then, yeah, it's basically founded because we have like times when we're really productive, and brightening it's just like 25 minutes, but at least you can track it and you don't feel bad when you need a break. I mean, for me, for example, it was often the case that at home office, I felt like I need to be more productive. I need to be more productive when I had like a 15 minutes break or had a coffee for like 10 minutes, because it was like more easily distracted. But I mean, also when we're at home, when we're in the office, we get distracted easily. Maybe we're on a walk, we go for a longer lunch, or we might meet some colleagues in the kitchen, and then we're not productive as well. So me, it really helps to have like a better conscience, because I knew, okay, I was productive now, and now I deserve this 10 minutes break, for example, and it's totally okay. And what's also really nice about this Pomodoro technique is that after every 25 minutes, when you use it in the web browser-based version, you can write down the task you were doing. So by the end of the day, you can see, oh, okay, I was working on the task for like 2 hours, and then maybe you know how to set the time frames for further tasks. So now we're already at the part where we can introduce our guests. We're happy to introduce our guests, Sabrina and Saskia. I will take them to screen. 1 second. A bit struggling because I'm the moderator and the speaker in this case. 1 second. So add Sabrina to screen. And Saskia. So 1 second. Now we should be all together. So, okay. Now we can see already Saskia. I think Sabrina is joining in a minute. Maybe you can just say like a few words about yourself, about your situation at home, about your current position in your company, and yeah, so that everyone gets like an idea.
Yes, I'm Saskia. I'm 38 years old. I work for a medium-sized IT company in Wiesbaden, and we have an IT training center. And since the lockdown started, we couldn't have any customers on site, so we had to lock down our trainings and switch them over to online seminars. So there's still a lot of administrative things to do. And yeah, since the schools also locked down and I have a daughter, I have to stay at home and most of the times and work from home.
Mm-hmm.
So I live with my 8-year-old daughter and my partner.
Mm-hmm. And in general, you were working home before, or it was just like a new situation due to Corona that you have to be in home office?
Now, quite a new situation for me because
Mm-hmm.
my job is rather an on-site job where you have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of customer service and you have to be in the office. And yeah, that's kind of new for me, but it's
Mm-hmm.
works.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So happy that Sabrina is also here. Maybe you can shortly introduce yourself and give us like an overview about your current situation, if you're working in remote still, or you're already allowed to go back to the office.
Okay, I will do so. Hi to everyone. At first, I would like to apologize for any mistakes. I'm not a native speaker, so if there are some grammar problems or vocabulary problems, I hope you can understand this. Well, I'm 28 years old. I am working in the project management and operations support, kind like this. And I am also faced with the same problems as Saskia is, because more or less I have been all the time on site, and just in some cases it was allowed to be at home. So Corona was a bit tricky for myself, I must admit. So yes, that's the same for me.
Mhm. And maybe starting in the morning, as I already did in the presentation, do you have figured out somehow without knowing, or even with like actively informing yourself about a morning routine, how to get in that productive mood at home? Because like I can say from my experience, I was really struggling in the morning because normally I don't know, you do it like coincidentally that you get ready at home, then you're at work, and then you know, okay, I need to be productive. But waking up at home and also like don't have a set time where you start in a set environment, I really had problems to be like, okay, now I'm working and I'm focusing 100%.
Maybe I just start.
Yeah, sure.
Um, it's totally the same. Of course, I woke up or I wake up, I take a coffee and things like this. But the productive time is like skimming to the whole daily process.
Mhm.
What I found very interesting was the thing you just showed us, like have morning routines, like take your time, take 10 or 20 minutes for something else like yoga, sports, or even reading a book. I am not doing this so far, but this is actually a hint I would definitely try.
Mm. I feel like it really helps also when you, because what I did like in the beginning, waking up, having a coffee, and then checking the emails before getting in a mindset, and then comparing this
Exactly.
to a normal work day. You don't do this. You have coffee at home, and then you shut your working laptop down till you're in the office, and then it's totally okay. But I felt like in home office somehow I need to be available the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's a really good point. How it was for you, Saskia? Do you have a morning routine? Also, I see a good theme, like you have a child. So were there like specific challenges with working with a child at home?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Used to have a morning routine and try to get up at 6:15 as I usually do,
Hmm.
and have a coffee and get prepared. But well, today I overslept and I woke up 2 minutes before 8, and it was really a high stress level the whole day. And yeah, it was very difficult today.
Hmm.
So a morning routine would really help me a lot. It's a good advice.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. So also when I start to do some research about that morning routine, I was really kind of obsessed and hanging in there and looking like further and further details about it, because I think like it's a really nice book I also recommended to you in further details in the presentation I will share with all of you. It's like that many successful people have this really star morning routine to get like in the good mindset and use this space in the morning where you can totally decide and do what you really want to do. Also, like psychologically, it's like that we in the morning make like the most value-based decisions were like important for us, just like because our mindset is not already distracted by all our all-day life. So if we should make a decision that's important to us, for example, like a really important decision, we should do it like in the morning, because our mindset is still like really fresh and we are like really based on our inner values and not distracted by other things. So if you have maybe you're running your own business or something, you should do it like in the morning. And then I was also googling up like the morning routine of how morning routine of like big CEOs is, and basically everyone of them, at least the information I found, stand up like before 5 in the morning to use this time to get like in a good mood. That's like I know I just find it like really fascinating how important it is for us then that we can actually start working with a good mindset. Yeah. And what were in general like your biggest challenges, except the morning is working from home? Do you were struggling more in organizing your workday as usual, or it was like just the same?
Where is that?
I'm just starting out. Organizing the day wasn't a problem at all because we worked a lot before with calendar entries, like you already told us. So this was quite fine. What I was really distracted with was having my personal area. And then I read an article which said, okay, you need to focus on your kitchen area, you need to focus on your bed, you need to focus on your couch and your private things. So make sure, what you also already told, make sure you have your working and your office experiences. Make sure you have the table right, you have enough space, you have all your things you need, especially like I am an old school friend, paper and pencil. And the first days I just didn't thought about this. And after a few days, I was just like, there is something missing. So I decided, okay, I need an area for my paper and my pencil. And since then, this is quite working well. So this was really, really interesting for myself. And sometimes I'm struggling with noises in the background. So when I'm talking to someone, like in the video calls or just telephone calls, and there are noises in the background, probably they don't hear it, but I am focused by then. So this is sometimes, I am struggling with this. So probably you have some hints, how could I, or what can I do, or something like this. But yeah, that's it more or less.
What do you mean, like you're struggling with like your surrounding because you have like background noises? How in your flat or?
Exactly. Unfortunately, there are some instructions just above my flat. So and this is for 2.5 weeks, I guess. Yes, not the whole day, but sometimes you are just disturbed by those noises.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So what I did in my case, now I can speak freely here because I'm in the office again, but I have the same the same struggle when I'm working at home. So I decided like to ask for proper headset, what really helps me, because like in my task, I need to make some like maybe 5 to 10 phone calls a day, who might be already also like a bit longer. And I was really annoyed by having this phone or just like normal earphones and not really getting what clients or other people are telling me exactly. And then you're like heading. So yeah, I really need like a Bluetooth headset that I can also make some notes or stuff like that. And that's also the point, like design of the workspace, make an environment at home that is like basically the same. I mean, probably, of course, can't be exactly the same, but from the conditions and from the working materials, you need the same as at home. And I think it's like easy to get a Bluetooth headset. It's not that expensive, and maybe also your employee is willing to pay for it. Yeah.
Thank you.
So coming to the questions of our community, I asked like in the beginning 2 questions. It's very interesting. Everyone seems to be working, like nearly everyone, 30 to 40 hours, as we do as well. And what's really, really interesting, like 66% of the attending people feel like more productive at home, and 2 of them, and 22%, no difference, and just 1 feels like less productive. If I have to say, if I have joined this survey, I would definitely felt like less productive. Even I was like, regarding the results, more productive. It's just like because I had a bad conscience when I made like a break, as I would do as well in the office. But in the office, it's easier because you're in the office like for 9 hours, and then you feel like, okay, I can call it a day now, and I deserved this free time. So how it is for you? Do you feel also more productive at home?
Yeah, I think I'm less distracted by colleagues or by from the other offices or incoming calls. So I think I'm more focused on my tasks. So I think I have less tasks at home, but I can stay focused much more on them.
Okay, I see. So you did it maybe like then like coincidentally already, or intuitively like already right, that you focus on the things and the task you're doing. I had the problem in the beginning that I was checking, for example, my emails much more often than I would do it working in the office, because where I feel like in the office, everyone can see like kind of I'm there and you feel like confirmed. And then I focus on a task, doing something like a project where I don't check my mails for like 2 hours, and I feel like this okay. But in home office, I felt in the beginning I need to be available all the time, and then I got just more easily distracted by operative work stuff, which always can wait like 2 hours when I set the schedule to it. So I think it's important that we realize we can set the schedule by our own when we want to do this by using maybe this calendar entries or something. And yeah, what I would be really interested, of course, how is your workplace looking at home? Do you did that you find like your own space? Do you have a working room, or you need to improvise as me and working from the kitchen table?
Well, I have to improvise because I don't have an extra room for myself to build up my workspace. And I have to do the homeschooling for my daughter at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Build up my workspace every day and put everything away once my day has ended. So then my working day is over. And this really helps me to separate these 2 areas. So it's not perfect not to have your own room to work, but I think it helps me to really end the day by putting all these things away and just say, that's it for today. And then after work, I start the homeschooling. So I have to concentrate on the other areas. So, yeah.
So you said directly like coming to the child, like you said times where you do the homeschooling and you said times where you work, or you did something parallel as well.
We have an arrangement that she starts her homeschooling, her task herself, if she can, at a set time. And after I finish my work, I will join in and help her with her tasks.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important to implement probably some rules. But are schools in Hessen already open again?
Not first, second, and third grade. But she is allowed to visit school next week for 4 hours.
Okay. Nice. And what I would be also interested is like, as I presented some tools, and for me, I still use Trello. We still use in the office Trello, which really helped me to have this card and kind of Kanban-ish working method. Do you have any other tools maybe you use or you can recommend, or maybe maybe it's just like some, not a tool, not an app, maybe just some techniques, writing to-do lists on a paper that helps you to structure your workload?
Well, we use Trello as well in small teams. Not everyone in the company is using this, but I can definitely recommend it because you can design it on your specific needs and so on. As I already said, I am a fan of to-do lists, written to-do lists. And what I found really interesting was the Pomodoro thing you already presented. I definitely will check this because it sounds quite interesting, and I'm a person which might be focused on something else. So, for example, if a call is coming in and I forget about some things, so I will definitely try this because I think this could help me myself.
Yeah. I feel also that really helps, and it's really easy because it works like web-based, and then you have this, after 25 minutes you have this tone, bam, and then the timer stopped. For sure, it's not like this, then after 25 minutes you have to stop. Mostly I'm working 7 minutes further because I just want to finish the task, but then I can decide, now I make the break. And also like when sometimes it doesn't work that the private phone is on a different table, and then you just see like a WhatsApp coming or something, and then you're like, okay, but I know in 15 minutes I will have the break and then I can check it. So it really helps me to structure it a bit more in an easy way. Nice. And in the end, do you have like any personal tip? And also I want to ask all the attendees if they have maybe still some questions to our guests, or maybe some issues where they're struggling with, and maybe we can give you some advice, so you can use the ask the question part. So do you have one routine that helps you the most, or some secret tip for us where you found now I really got it, how to be balanced?
Well, it always helps to have enough food available.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it, and have healthy food available, most importantly, and to keep the energy on a high level.
Yeah.
For me, it's sports, doing sports, like empowering after work, just having everything just split out your head. So this was quite good at the beginning and still is.
Yeah, I feel the same. And sometimes it's also not just like about that heavily, high intensely training or something, or just go for a walk, because you're totally in a different mindset. And I mean, also like studies say, when you like have like a high metabolism or something, you reduce the stress. As we all know, sports is good to reduce stress, but also to be like in a different environment and do physically like something totally else than working, sitting, reading, or something, feels like for me that I'm in a totally different mindset. Nice. So we'll just check if like someone maybe ask a question. I hope that's not a bad sign. I hope it's just like that we talk about all your issues already. So in the end, I would love if you all use our feedback survey to give me and us a short feedback. It's just like really short. It takes like, I promise, not more than 5 minutes. And also, if you have an idea for further webinars or themes you would like to talk about, it would be great for us to know, because then we can organize it and talk about this as well. And also, I want to use this space to announce our next webinar, which will be like in 2 weeks on the 10th of June. It's in cooperation with one of our partners, and we will talk about possibilities for freelancer, especially how to take care about their retirements and money savings and stuff like that. So I will share with you in the chat now the link to rate this webinar and give us some feedback. And I want to say thank you to my guests that you were here today. And I hope every one of you have a nice Monday and also joining our next webinar. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.